We have concerns. Yo, what's up? Welcome to 49ers on SI Live, presented by Prize Picks. We're your hosts, Grant Cohn, Jose Sanchez. Draft's just 6 days away, and we're going to tell what the Niners should and shouldn't do, and we're going to discuss the biggest concern they have heading into 2026. We may disagree on this one. First, let's talk news. The Niners met with Michael Trigg, a tight end from Baylor on CBS. He's projected to go late second, early round 3. How crucial is it for the Niners to draft a tight end this year, considering where George Kittle's at with his recovery and his age?
Light crucial, I would say, because what did they just do this offseason? They extended Jake Tonges, right? Tonges, however you pronounce his last name. They just extended him. So it's like, are we just going to like double dip now into the position, like, and go to for a second round pick? Because let's not dumb down what a second round pick is. This is where you could still get a fairly impactful player, if not in this year, but down the line. And with Kittle, I guess it would be like, when did he tear his Achilles? Like in mid-January, right? So
Yeah.
like that's what's like, what, he'll be back like October, maybe November. They did say like he tore it upper, so maybe that removes like a month or so of his recovery, but you never know, right? So I just think like when you're drafting a tight end, like how often are tight end prospects that are actually impactful after the first round or even the second round? And this guy who I've never heard of, it's like, what are you bringing him in for? Is this another blocking tight end? Because if that's the one thing the 49ers have always done, it's they draft blocking tight ends after the first round or second round, and it's just like, how many times we're going to keep doing this, like, can't we just find someone for that in the fourth round? Now, maybe they think this guy is capable dual threat. He's like, hey, he's got some receiving ability. We know he can block and he can blossom to be further than, okay, let's just see what he's got. Because for all we know, it's like Tonjes is obviously just a receiving threat. He can't block to save his life. So maybe this guy is the best of both worlds, and then you just take that flyer on him.
Yeah, like I like Tonjes, but he's limited, right? I mean, if there's 4 things a tight end can do well, like get open, catch the ball, get yards after the catch, and block, Tonjes can do like 2 of those things: get open and catch the ball. Trigg is interesting. I hadn't heard of him before. I saw the news that the Niners brought him in. I'm like, wow, so he's a second round prospect. That's kind of high. That makes me feel like the Niners might be thinking about life after George Kittle, or planning for a world where he takes a long time to come back, like Dre Greenlaw did. So I look into his highlights, and it's like first highlight is him dragging defense for an extra 5 yards. So he's kind of like Kittle in the sense where he's one of these tight ends who fights for extra yards and is good after the catch, as opposed to Tonjes, who will just kind of go down. The Niners haven't had a tight end like that since Kittle. So watching him at Baylor, he played in a spread offense. He was basically a slot receiver, but he caught a lot of passes over the middle and would fight for extra yards. So I could see why the Niners might like him, but round 2 to me would indicate like a very pessimistic view of George Kittle's future.
Yeah, and look, I've also seen like mock drafts, surprisingly, of Kenyon Sadiq is actually going to be at 27, which I don't think he's going to be there. But if he is, that's like, I wouldn't mind them picking him there. I would not mind the 49ers picking him there. But yeah, this like Trigg.
Yeah, if they take this guy in round 2, they probably take Sadiq in round 1 if he's there.
Oh yeah, especially if you're looking. And look, obviously they gotta like do their due diligence, right? You gotta make sure you leave as much stones not unturned. That way it's like we have tight ends no matter what. Like they've been looking for like a nice secondary tight end for the last 3 years. I mean, they tried with Brock Wright with the Lions. They tried drafting guys and it's just failed. So their process, either the process has been wrong or they've just been beaten out by like in free agency. So I could see why they've always wanted that secondary tight end, that receiving guy. And Tonjes definitely just surprised them. There's no way in heck they thought he was going to be a decent receiving option like he is now. But yeah, is this guy, the way you describe this guy, if he's another receiving option, but he does it more tougher, because Tonjes is not like tough. Like he's going to get tackled, he's going to take it down. I mean, you saw the way he lost that fumble against Seattle, and they're just like, yeah, this guy is a tight end, but he plays like a receiver. So it's like, good, he can come in clutch for us, but he's not really going to like you said, drag someone for 5 yards. Where this guy, like, we can do that. And I guess maybe you just think, like, does he have that blocking capability, and do the 49ers think they can raise that level, raise that aspect of his game?
Yeah, I mean, he again, he played a lot in the slot in college, so he may not have it right away, but he might be able to play off the ball a little bit or as a fullback. I think one thing that's interesting with where offenses are going in the NFL, like, it's clear that the trend on defense is to play nickel, to be as small as you can get away with. That's what really good defenses do. That's what the Seahawks do. And it seems like really smart offenses counter by hoarding lots of tight ends. Look at the Rams. That's the offense that seems to have the most success against the Seahawks. They have a bunch of tight ends, not just one. And none of them are great, but they're all pretty good, above average. They can block and catch. So the Niners have one guy right now in Tondres. Farrell doesn't count, and I just don't know what to really expect from Kittle in the future. The Seahawks have AJ Barner and Elijah Arroyo, who they drafted last year. I think it's smart to have as many tight ends as possible. Two isn't even enough. So if they take this guy in round two, if they take Sadiq in round one, I'll like it. I'll understand it. I would prefer the Niners to trade down and get extra draft picks. They only have 6 right now, which is kind of amazing. But yeah, I think tight end's a pretty big need.
Yeah, and I hear that aspect for sure. I hear that about them. I think, and look, like, who's after Tonjes? Can even I can't name who the heck like,
Braden Willis, who I don't think is really an NFL player. He's been on.
yeah,
They drafted him a couple of years ago. He's done nothing.
he's just the guy. Exactly.
Yeah,
He's just the guy. So a depth filler person. Yeah, that three trio, that three tight end set that the Rams like to use a lot last year, which they stopped using towards the end, which is a little weird, and that kind of got their offense out of a funk. I mean, in a funk. But I think, especially if you're looking for like a second round pick, that I just hope that what their process is they're not using that pick as just for need. We needed to cover Kittle for X amount of games and then sayonara. It's like, no, if you are gonna draft a tight end in the second round, don't use that for need. Use it because you think he's good and he can help in year one, and he's probably gonna step up in year 2 or 3, especially if you eventually want to move down from Kittle down the line. That's where I think, like, that's the problem with the 49ers being such a why they always fail in the draft, is because they are coach Kyle Shanahan and just overall coach centric. They don't think beyond year 1 or even 2. No, just don't think beyond year 1. That's why so many rookies and young players struggle to get playing time, is these guys are just so small minded that it's like they just can't see beyond, like, can this guy help me now? Like, no, he can't. It's like, well, yeah, no doubt he can't help you now. He still needs to develop. You got to give him that runway. So I think in this case, if you're that tight end, it's like he's probably going to play like 4 games, because I'd imagine even if Kittle is looking good, gets on the field in last month of training camp, you want to put him on PUP. So I just hope, as long as the process is not just we've got to draft him out of desperation, that's all I care about.
the reason I'd like this, I would actually be open to this pick, is I feel like the Niners have to. When they were at their best as an offense, they were the best yak offense in the league, and they were for
Yeah.
like 2019 to 2023. And the last 2 years, they've been among the worst in the league at yak, and I think they need to address that. Christian isn't getting any better at that. I don't think George is really going to be a factor as a yak guy at his age, coming off Achilles. He wasn't really that big of a yak guy last year, and then Mike Evans isn't anymore anyway. So if they at every position they need yards after the catch, will make him more explosive and will help him beat the Seahawks. So this guy really fits. Let me just read some of his strengths according to NFL.com. Rare arm length, hand size, wingspan for a tight end. Will run past linebackers and beat them up the seam. Has the sink and footwork of a big wideout, getting out of breaks. Impressive timing, body control, and extension to big boy defenders at the high point. Makes highlight reel grabs look easy at times. Has become a living nightmare for man defenders in the red zone. Ricochets off contact to keep
I like
run
that.
after the catch going. Able to wall off and stay connected as a blocker in the slot. So he's kind of like a big wide receiver. So was George Kittle. I mean, Kittle was a wide receiver coming out of high school. One thing I want to point out, I think there's been a theme, and maybe this is a good transition to the next topic. It seems like the receivers the Niners have been looking at this offseason have been pretty big. They've been looking for a lot of big receivers. They have a smaller quarterback who likes to throw 50-50 balls over the middle. So maybe it's smart to have 6'3", 6'4", 6'5 guys who can go up and win those 50-50 balls. How crucial is it for the Niners to draft a wide receiver in general?
There's a crucialness to it, and then there's not. Let me start off with the crucialness to it, and that's because there's no like regardless of what body type they want, guy, route running guy, all around guys, whatever, no matter who they're looking at, just look at the future of the position. There is no future. Like that's why free agency for me was really excellent by the 49ers is you saw that we lost Brandon Ayuk. We need to get that dominant wide receiver instantly. Mike Evans, come here. And then you need depth for a vertical threat. Christian Kirk injury prone. I mean, not injury prone, but coming off an injury. You know what? Screw it. Let's bring him on. Let's just figure it out. Vertical threat. Maybe he can help us out. So you band-aid the position. These are all one-year deals essentially. And that's good. Great. You just need. But beyond 2026, what do you have? Like maybe Mike Evans stays on that contract you signed him to. Then cool. That's great. Christian Kirk probably gone. Ricky Pearsall, you're going to have make a decision on, right? Because if he keeps getting hurt, they're probably not picking up that fifth-year option. And even if he does have a healthy season and does well, it's still like one good season against two. And then the rest of the receivers are just, there's nothing. There's literally nothing. You can't even name Jacob Cowing or Jordan Watkins because they're just variables at this point. They're mystery. They don't play. And I have very, very little faith that anything's going to happen. So to me, it's like, yeah, that's the crucialness of why you do go first round with the wide receiver, right? Or second round. That's the good part. Like go for that wide receiver to finally address that future. And you have someone that doesn't have to be that significant role player in year one because you're going to funnel the offense through McCaffrey, eventually Kittle, obviously Evans, and like your array of receivers with Pearsall. So that's great. And then eventually year two, this rookie receiver can step up. That's assuming you draft him in the first round and second round though.
Yeah, I think it's a loaded question. It's an interesting question. Clearly, they don't have a future at this position. So how do you address it? I'm not that excited about taking a wide receiver in round one where they're at. That's kind of how I feel considering they took Ricky there. But if they were to trade down and like get another second round pick and a third round pick, and they would take a wide receiver in round 2 or round 3, I would totally love that.
You mean what they should have done with Ricky last year? I mean last year, but you know what I mean.
Exactly. 2 years ago. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like if they could find a way to get like Omar Cooper or Casey Concepcion or Denzel Boston in like the mid to late 30s, I'd love that. In the 20s, I would rather them go like offensive line, frankly. And then if they were going to wait till round 4 again to take a wide receiver, it's like, yo, you do that every year and you never play the guy. Instead of just wasting these 4th round picks on wide receivers, why don't you take a freaking offensive lineman or anything else? So it depends on where they take the wide receiver, but clearly they need to take one, at least one this year, next year. I mean, definitely next year if they don't take one this year.
Yeah, and I definitely lean not going wide receiver round 1 because of the similar sentiment of Ricky Pearsall. But at the same time, it's like that's really your only option if they want to get wide receiver. And I would imagine they would. As I just stated, the future of the position is no future. It's very bleak. 2026 is fine, but beyond that, it's not. It's just you have to draft that guy in round 1 or round 2 because that's where you're going to get your actually impactful players, at least for the future. If he's just a role player in year 1, like 30 catches, 400 yards, 300 yards, that's solid. And then he steps up the next year. But like you just said, and I even wrote about it the other day, do not waste your pick on day 3. Cause as we know, they only have 6 picks, first round, second round. After that, it's pretty much just 4 in the 4th round, assuming they don't trade down or recoup some more picks. But either way, if it's day 3, I want the 49ers to stay away from a day 3 wide receiver pick because you're just pretty much lighting that pick on fire. I mean, look at their history. They have drafted blunder after blunder on day 3 of the draft. Now, if you just draft, I'd rather just go anywhere. Go running back for all I care. Go offensive line. But one thing's a fact is they stink with drafting wide receivers on day 3. I mean, you got your Juwan Jennings, sure, but you can't tell me they didn't expect Juwan Jennings to be solid as a round 7 pick. And even in year 1, he wasn't he was just a practice squad player and eventually rose the ranks due to injury and just stepping up. So he's an outlier. So please avoid day 3 picks. Those are all projects that you're not going to see actually flourish or develop. You already have your projects in Jacob Cowing and Jordan Watkins. Just stay there. If you want wide receiver, round 1, round 2 is the place you go at, whether it's Omar Cooper or Casey Concepcion, whoever, just any of those rounds would be good, just not day 3.
If they draft a wide receiver in round 1, will Ricky Pearsall request a trade?
No. I think
because wouldn't that feel like a slap in his face?
I see. Honestly, I do. I was already thinking about this.
Kind of right.
It is drafting round 1, kind of like because if Ricky was healthy and he was a baller, it's like, okay, this guy's a bona fide wide receiver 2, because that's the most I think he's ever going to be, which is fine. Wide receiver 2s are great, especially in this offense.
But after signing Mike Evans and Christian Kirk, it's like, all right, we're kind of It's not our number one need anymore. If they really, really believed in Ricky, but how can you?
But I think it just kind of goes back to the future, right? Where it's like Christian Kirk, you're on a 1-year deal and you probably won't come back again. If you do cheap, whatever, you're not going to be a big role player. You're just a guy. You're just going to be our good wide receiver 3-4 guy, whatever. And then Mike Evans, if you do stay on, Pearsall, it's just that's where it kind of goes to the draft. Like, hey, you draft for the future. Because if you're thinking like Shanahan, he might not think wide receiver in year one because it's like, I covered this already with Christian Kirk, Mike Evans, and Pearsall is going to step up and be healthy. And then I got Robinson, all these other guys who can like fill in there, get a few catches whenever I need sporadically. It kind of is that way. Like, do you view it as need? Do you view it as best player available as to the future? That's why I'm just going with, if you're drafting for need in the 4th round, and usually the 4th round is like, it's okay. You can kind of just pick whatever at that point. Just don't do it, because we've already seen what you guys do with your wide receivers, and just avoid that. But yeah, for Pearsall, it is there is a little bit of a slight, I would see, for sure, because if he was this bona fide healthy guy that's like, wow, he just came off 1,000-yard season, 65 catches, 1,016 yards, 5 tugs, and it's like, okay, we got something here, hell yeah. But but even if he was, I could see them why they'd want 2 good wide receivers, because that's the thing about the 49ers offense that's always been good for years, right? Emmanuel Sanders, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. So you kind of want that in tandem for the future in this offense.
Yeah, I guess that's why I don't expect them to take a wide receiver in round 1, because if they do, I feel like it's really a vote of no confidence in Ricky. But if they take him in round 2, you could be like, we still like Ricky, but we're just sort of hedging just in case he doesn't work out. Big Tone says, glad to see you back, Jose. Not the knockoff Tyler. Yeah, man. No one likes Tyler.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Yeah. Let's pause for some prize picks. We got Giants starting in about half an hour. Jose is a huge Giants guy.
Oh, yeah. I got my Giants tattoo on my calf.
We got Logan Webb, the ace, having a bit of a tough year, but he's a good player usually. 5.5 strikeouts against, we got Washington, more or less.
Less. Giants stink.
Less. Giants stink. They do really stink. Zach Littell, 3 more or less. He had what?
More.
6 a couple of games ago, but he's going against the Giants, who
I was about to say he's going against the Giants more. Have you seen DeBow's tweets? These guys are historically bad right now.
I mean, we're not even halfway through April and they're already 5 games under 500. It's kind of remarkable. All right, I think that's enough of baseball. How about basketball? Who's playing tonight? Anyone? LaMelo
Stephen
Ball.
Curry, baby.
Oh yeah. Oh
Give me
yeah.
that more. Give me that more. Give me that more. Give me everything more, Steph.
Hold on. Let me go. Let's go straight to the game. It's very organized here at Prize Picks. Boom. Over here. Apply. Okay. Here we go. Steph Curry. There's all kind of Steph Curry stuff, right? 27.5 points.
More. Cue the Kobe Bryant commercial. More.
What about pod? No, forget pods.
Pods.
Not forget pods. 14.5.
Less. I'm going bold.
Sorry. Porzingis,
bold like
8.5 rebounds and assists.
Man, talk about a baller the other day, right? I give him more. Give him more. This guy's got that. He's got that secret juice.
Devin Booker's 27.5 points.
He's probably gonna go more. He's probably gonna go more.
Well, he's not gonna get the Draymond Green treatment.
I just think they have no one to stop him, and Draymond's got that hurt knee, right, or something like that. And I read that he was even
Pods
sick.
is gonna get lit up. Pods is gonna get absolutely lit up. All right, I'm gonna put down Hundo because Jose's good at this, and I'm feeling confident. Submit the lineup. We got a little baseball. We got a little basketball.
If you just go to a goatee and have the same color hair, you would look like Pods.
Thank you.
That might have been the most offensive thing I've ever said to you.
You gotta download Prize Picks, use promo code HMA, play 5, get $50 instantly in lineups, and then follow my Prize Picks feed at Grant_Cohn. I'm giving away a signed George Kittle jersey, and yeah, Jose thinks I look like Pods. It's pretty much
Grant Podzimski.
All right, let's talk players. Players that would be great selections at 27. Who do you think? Who would you really give the Niners an A for taking?
I'll go, because I think I know where you're going. I'm gonna go with the same thing we just have and go. I'm so wishy-washy on this, but wide receiver Casey Concepcion. I know you like him in the 30s, and that would be a great scenario. I just don't
Mhm.
think he's gonna be there in the 30s. I
Yeah.
could see, and I don't even think he's gonna be there at 27. You know,
Yeah.
that's why he's a player I think the 49ers are hoping can fall. And the reason why I think he's a great fit and just a good player in general is he's fast, he's agile. The 49ers need to add some speed, right? He's a gadget player. He's got some great versatility to his game. And as Kyle Shanahan, 49er fans know, Kyle Shanahan loves those versatile players because you just plug and play them anywhere, and he just has a grand old time creating his plays. But also, he's just his route running is very smooth. I like his route running from everything I've read and everything I've seen. It's just that's what the 49ers need, right? Someone who's going to beat that man coverage, someone who's going to curate that soft part in the zone for Brock Purdy to hit to keep the timings of the routes flowing. And I just think that would be a great all-around pick right there at 27. Don't love the position, but it's like, okay, I get it. Future position, good player. Now, my pushback on him is he does have the case of the drops, and that's always the biggest no-no for any position. I think it's like your job is to catch the freaking ball, and you can't catch it. I think his drop rate was I think he had like 10 drops last year, something like that, give or take. Don't quote me on that, but it was alarming. He was one of the high drop rate receivers in college football last year. So I guess if you're just 49ers, how do we work on that? Do we just get him? Do we have belief that he's going to shake that in our offense? So I think that would be the way to move. Oh, am I by myself now?
You were saying?
Yeah, yeah. Just his drawback on the drops. Just his drawback. That's his drawback on the drops.
Sorry about that.
That'd be the only thing that makes him that would make him just the like. If I can see Kyle Shanahan being like, I don't trust those drops. Nah, kind of a similar way where he sees a running back fumble, he's like, I can't trust this guy. I just can't. But
Yeah.
I think he would be a good pick. You just gotta like work on with that.
Here's the way I look at 27. I feel he might be really good, and if they get a legit number one receiver at pick 27, then it's a great pick. I don't know which one of those receivers is a legit number one receiver. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's tough. It could be him. It could be Cooper. It might not. Like, was Cooper even the number one receiver in Indiana? I don't know. Maybe not. So for me, like if they can get a legit left tackle at 27, it's a great pick. And so that's what I mean. I'm not the greatest at scouting anyone, but it seems to me if they get Lomu, Proctor, those are left tackles. And then Maxi and Archer, he played right tackle, but he hasn't played football that long. And he's like the most athletic of the three. He looks like he might be able to transition to left tackle. Like he has the traits to do it. If they get one of those three guys, I think those would be great picks at 27. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if all three are off the board at that point. I think they all could be off. They could all be top 25 picks. And if the Niners wanted them, they'd have to trade up for them. And they shouldn't ever trade up for anyone because they're terrible at picking who's good. They're worse than me. Maybe not worse than me.
They're terrible in the first round. Like they are like egregiously bad. Like, and this whole thing, well, everyone's bad in the first. No, these guys are very bad. And the only saving grace is Brandon Ayuk. And look how that's turning out last couple years. But yeah, it's just, I guess the ultimate question is like, how are they going to mess this up? Who are they going to take that's no one's foreseeing at all? Because, 2 years ago, you pretty much had a lock in Cooper DeJean, but you said, nah, we're going to take Pearsall. And that's been a complete whiff. But no, honestly, I do lean more with you on taking like a Caleb Lumo, an offensive tackle, because at some point you do have to address the future. Again, draft for the future. This is what the draft is for. And
Right.
while Lumu can't help you immediately, which I push back on because are we sure Lumu's not going to help him immediately? Trent Williams gets hurt every year, except for this past year, which was crazy. That guy's a beast for that. The odds are very likely he's going to miss games in 2026.
Especially if you pay him. If you give him guaranteed money for the next couple of years, guess what? If he has no money to earn this year, I bet you he won't play that much.
He probably won't force it as much.
I bet you he won't play through anything.
So yeah, but honestly, even if the contract or no contract, you just need to get that guy now, because what it seems to me from everything I keep being in this draft funk now is like offensive tackle is a fairly good class, and once you start getting into the round two, it's going to be very bleak, which is natural. That's pretty much what happens with always offensive tackles in the draft. If you don't get one in the first round, usually it's the top 15, top 20, but it seems there are going to be some nice prospects even in the 20s. So this would be your chance to be like, cool, we can sit this guy. He's got a great body of work that he can get embedded in the offense. We can work on him more. He sits behind Williams, and he's most likely going to get a few starts under his belt. that will give him a great runway to start and be a very good starter in year 2. So I would love that over the receiver, but I just that would be my 2 ways to go about it. Offensive tackle number 1, wide receiver number 2. As long as you're getting a good player that addresses the future, and I know wide receiver that you're not going to get like no number 1, right? Definitely not at 27. And none of those guys I view as true number 1s. But I think at this point, it's like, look, you're not drafting the top 15. You're not going to get like some of these top like real like killers at wide receiver. So hey, 27 Concepcion or even Omar Cooper, those are good. Those are not bad prizes at all at 27. I wouldn't mind Omar Cooper Jr. I just lean more Concepcion even with the drops because I think he's faster and has the better route running ability. Whereas Cooper, I think you're kind of going more for like that better version of Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you need to find someone who's going to be that. Just get clean route runners, because that way it's always like so much better, so much easier to timing your offense, and just especially when you go against those real strong defenses like Seattle.
I feel like the toughest positions to find or draft are quarterback and probably left tackle. I mean, the good ones go top 10. And so if you're in a position where your starting left tackle or starting quarterback is 38 years old and misses games every year, you probably have to be in the market for the next one, whether you want to be or not, whether you want to give your starter an extension or not. Like the Rams should probably be looking for a young quarterback just in case. And the Niners should be looking for a young left tackle just in case, even if they want to give him another extension, which I think would be freaking crazy. So if they can get, because like they're going to be drafting at the end of round 1 from here on out, most likely, if Brock Purdy's the truth, if Kyle Shanahan's really, really good. I mean, it's every year is going to be tough for them to find a left tackle. So if a legit left tackle falls to them, got to take one. And the reason I always hated the Mike McGlinchey pick wasn't just that he was like a soft, like soft, overrated, soft, right? It was the fact that he was a right tackle. Like if he had been if they had taken Colton Miller's a solid left tackle. He would have been worth the pick. He's not even a great left tackle, but you can't take a solid right tackle with the 9th pick in the draft. If they get a left tackle at 27, that's a win. But what they could do is just sign Taylor Decker, who's a starting left tackle, 32, 33 years old. He's not great, but he's a starter, and then they could not have to draft one this year.
I'd rather you draft one, because Taylor Decker just goes back to that Band-Aid that I'm talking about, wide receiver. And at some point, it's like the wheels are that Band-Aid's going to come off. Like there's only so much of glue on that Band-Aid that's going to last at whatever position when you sign these guys. And you're going back to that 30-year-old. So that's why I'm really in love with the offensive tackle pick. And it's funny because usually I won't have mock drafts influence me, but now it's like I keep seeing it so much that I'm like, this is going to happen, isn't it? And it feels like now's the right time. And even you, I try my best not to get influenced by you, but the fact that they're drafting an offensive tackle like this situation with Williams is like, hey, we have your replacement now. We're not worried about you. And I'm like, that's a very plausible scenario here. And it's definitely fair, because what's one thing John Lynch has said 3 times or 2 times that you guys have talked to him about with what's going on with Trent Williams? He always goes like, we love him, but he's getting up there in age. So it's okay. It's clear you guys are scared he's going to fall off a cliff. And after this year, he's done. So, but ultimately you guys don't have leverage, because even if they do draft this replacement, while it is good, Williams still has that leverage. It's like, you're not going to go out there and start a rookie. That's why I think drafting one now is perfect, because you don't have to, like, imagine following up Trent Williams in 2027 or 2028 with a rookie. That's very risky. So that means you're either going to go big with a free agent signing, which, damn, you're going to end up pulling up the coffers there, or just go for your future and have someone that you can groom and you have control over, like a Lomo or whoever. So I like that route better than a signing, or just having. Now's the time. Now's the time to go heir apparent. You guys been pushing it down the road. Now's the time. This is your sign.
We both agree on that, but I think you think there's probably a good chance they'll do it. I don't think they're going to do it. So why don't we talk about players that would be awful selections at 27? Because this is what I don't have any faith in the Niners to draft, particularly in round 1.
No one should.
I think whatever the mistake is, they find a way to do it, and I don't think that's going to change this year. So what do you think would be a big fat mistake in round 1?
If they draft a kicker, because we know they can. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I can hear you, but you're frozen. Your face is frozen.
My face is frozen.
But I can hear you.
You can hear me.
There you go. You're back. You're back. You're back.
No, it's just
a kicker for sure. if they went Janikowski. I remember that. I was like,
No,
remember when that happened?
or a punter. They've been scouting punters, haven't they? But
Yes.
no, I think honestly, like it's funny because I have never usually have a problem with teams going with edge rusher. Like people when I know
Thank you.
fans get pissed off at edge rusher, defensive line. It's like there's never a wrong idea, but I think this year's the wrong idea because none of these edge rushers are like, dude, every time I keep reading something from people I respect, whether it's Ted Wynn or the Athletic, no matter who, I keep reading, great run defender, great run defender. Where's the pass rushers? Where are the guys who are going to really steamroll or finesse their way? Even a pass rushing specialist, like there's none. There's a bunch of Michael Williams in this draft, it feels like.
Yep.
And I don't think at all that's where they should go. That doesn't make sense. So I think all those would be reaches. A lot of them would be great second round picks for sure. So I would love to see an edge rusher, a second round pick. Knock on wood that's not another Drake Jackson situation, but I would love for them to go that route. But I just see none of them like TJ Parker, Zion Young. Like there's things to like about them as pass rushers, but it's not like the thing that like that's gonna give you that immediate impact, like drafting someone in the future for an offensive tackle or wide receiver would do, or even a safety. I would love a safety at 27. That's why I didn't say before. I would love a safety at 27. That's I know positional value, but draft one of those. Do not go edge rusher because I'm not wowed by any of these guys. They have day 2 picks written all over them.
I agree. This is where I would go. This would be the mistake. Ruben Bain, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, those guys won't be available. And then where the Niners pick, I feel like every edge rusher would be a reach. I mean, Akeem Mesidor is like 25.
My God, he's old, bro.
Howell, what?
He's old.
He's old as hell. So no on him. Cassius Howell has like the shortest arms ever. No. Keldrick Falk is another. Michael Williams, no. But I wouldn't be honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted Keldrick Falk because here's why I think they're going to do this. Because they have an immediate need here. They don't want to talk about it. But they say Nick Bosa is going to be back week 1. They don't know that. We'll see. He's torn his ACL 3 times. And then opposite him, who's the edge rusher? Not Michael Williams because he tore his ACL mid-season. He won't be back till mid-season. He's a young guy who won't have an entire offseason. He could be awful next year. Who knows? So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I feel pretty confident that they're going to take an edge rusher and they're going to reach for him. And it's probably going to be a mistake because the Niners suck at drafting edge rushers, with the exception of Nick Bosa, who was a slam dunk. So that's how I feel. And if you think I'm like being pessimistic, hell yeah, I am. I feel like I know this team. I mean, I'm more like optimistic about the freaking Raiders and John Spytek or whatever his name is. I'm like, that's a team that's going places with a vision. Like the Niners is like, man, if it doesn't happen this year, blow it up.
I mean,
I don't know about sorry about
in the totality, but I mean, in the draft, I definitely have more faith in the Raiders to do it than the Niners because they literally have several classes that have just been like lit on fire. So I know they have like a bunch of gems on day 3, but it's like at some point, one of the day 1s, day 2 is actually going to like step up and do like enough other than like 2 to 3 picks. And one was a given in Bosa. Right. But, no, I mean, look, you don't even have to be an expert to cover this team. Like, if you could be a casual fan and be like, why is every first round pick like always like I had a friend actually ask me, hey, why is everyone first round pick we draft suck? And I'm like, I told him, I was like, dude, it's because that's what happens when you have the coach making the first round picks or influence. And that's what happens. The coaching thing is like you always look for who's going to help you in the now. And that's how you lead to drafting a kicker in the 3rd round because, needs. He can immediate needs. It's like, no, do not use the draft for needs. And that's when Kyle goes, I wish we could have the draft first. And it's like, that's so stupid. No, why would you? The free agency first makes sense because you use these guys who already have miles on their tires. So for you to plug for year 1 or 2 or 3, and then maybe a little bit longer where the draft, again, future the draft. All right. Like as one of my favorite rappers, go Future. All right. Future is the answer for everything.
But they don't, right? And that's why I think they're not going to take an offensive tackle. They signed Vidarian Lowe, who none of us have ever heard of, and they think they're going to have Trent Williams for another year, most likely. So I'm thinking they're going to say we can just take an offensive tackle next year. We can wait a year, which is what they always do. They just kick and again with wide receiver, they could do the same thing. Like we could just take one next year. Yeah, you could, but what you probably should do is turn those 6 draft picks into like 8 or 9 and plan for the future. Unless you don't think you're going to be here beyond next year, which is like, I don't know. Let us know. You've been here a while. Maybe this is the end.
I think the struggle with trading down, and I feel like I'm not even in favor of that, is because I feel like my sense of this draft is like everyone wants to trade down, like everyone. It's like because
Yeah,
this draft kind of sucks, and it's like
yeah,
it's kind of funny. I feel like I've been hearing that for the last 3 years straight. Like this draft's not good. This draft's not good. And it's like
yeah. They're not. It's not just like trading down. It's trading to next year, trading out.
so it's there's a lot of
I might even do that on my dynasty team. Just trade out to next year.
that's why I can't play Dynasty. That's okay. Now it's like, wait, you mean I gotta play fantasy year round? I'm good. I can't do that, man. 4 months is enough. If I start getting gray hairs by like week 6, it's like, what do you mean this player has turf toe? Come on, rub some dirt in it. It's all right. I got money on the line here. But no, yeah, edge rusher. Let's not go edge rusher for 27.
It would be forcing it. They'd be better off taking an edge rusher in round 2 or round 3 if they could get a 3rd round pick.
Priorities for me: offensive tackle 1, safety 2, wide receiver 3. If you can get an Emmanuel McNeil-Warren there, if you can get, but I guess maybe they would pass.
Well, what are your feelings on Marquis Siegel?
Look, he plays run support very well, and even his coverage is solid. But the guy, like, it's like if you're getting choreography in like dancing, like he's missing the final steps. He can't remember the final steps because when he's targeted, like he's in position, he just doesn't know. He just doesn't know how to execute. Just go be a playmaker. He has 0 playmaking ability, and that's the thing about these safeties is like he has everything you like, but like, does he know where to do in those final 1.5, 2.5 seconds? Like put a hand up, play the hands, play. If he catches the ball, like play through the hands. Like when he came on that coverage against AJ Brown in the playoffs, like I think that was probably his best rep I saw from him all season long. It's like, wow, like I know it wasn't his own, but he covered ground and he was inches away from actually knocking that ball out. So it's just he needs to get those. He needs to get that. I don't know if he panics. He probably does, but that's like the part that keeps him from being like an average safety to a really, really darn good one.
I think he has the potential to be a really, really darn good one, but right now he was a bit of a liability. But is he that much worse than Mustafa?
No, and
No.
I think the worst player on the team is obviously not on the team, but the safety is Jair Brown, which they're gonna let walk after this year,
slow.
right? He's slow. He's not as good of a hard hitting.
He should be a linebacker.
Like, no, he has no. He's gonna get steamrolled like crazy.
Yeah.
Mustafa should. He has liable coverage, which made last year like, what the hell, man? Like, like your coverage is very skittish, but you can't even run support as a box safety well because I don't know that tackling miscues by him and Brown so many times, especially against the Seahawks, was disgusting work. So I'm just like, dude, just revamp these guys. Stop. They don't have it. They can't do the basic things that you are not going to teach them or work with them on because obviously these NFL offenses, teams are like, we need you to already know how to tackle. We're not going to teach you that. There's barely any time we have to work and practice for us to have you learn how to tackle again. Like what's that? Like, are you serious right now?
Yeah. All right. Well, we agree. Don't force the edge rusher in round 1 because if you do, we're gonna have to wonder if you were taking that into cloud. April is funny. Half the internet's talking about the Niners inevitably reaching in round 1 of the NFL draft. The other half is already planning their 420. Over here, you know what we're already doing. For me, 420 used to mean going hard. Now it just means doing it right. I mean, the older I get, the less I want chaos disguised as fun. I want calm that still feels clear. 1 into cloud soda later, I'm totally relaxed, still sharp, still me, and no regret math the next morning. Easy win. 420 hits differently when your bank account feels calm too. So if you're 21 or older and a new customer, go to indocloud.co. That's .co, not .com, and use code COHN for 40% off your first order. That's indocloud.co, code COHN for 40% off all month long, shipped discreetly to your door, plus free shipping on orders over $50 and $30 in free gifts on qualifying orders. Jose?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the biggest concern of 2026 for the Niners? What are you most concerned about with this team?
Yeah, I know the draft hasn't happened yet, but I think regardless, this concern is going to stay very prevalent. And I think it's the number one, and it's not injuries. It's not Brock Purdy. It's their mentality. Let's flip back to last year, right? They talked about this mentality of being re-energized again, reinvigorated, and what was the big thing? Like the vibes are back in the building, baby. And they were, because guess what? They humbled themselves. They stopped treating it like an NBA season where we're just looking ahead to the playoffs and we started looking at like, hey, every game matters again. Let's just take it one day, 1 week at a time. And you saw that. That's what I thought was a great job of Kyle Shanahan last year. Is like, despite all the injuries, like they were just like, we just got to win. Like we can't get too high, we can't get too low. And I think you kind of saw it during the regular season last year when they kept going win loss before they finally started to click together. But I think ultimately that mindset starting from OTAs really did play a big factor into them having a very solid season last year. Now, this time, the reason why I'm concerned about them maintaining it, is you go back to what Trent Williams said after they lost to the Seahawks, where he's like, yeah, we weren't supposed to be here. We're all playing on plus money. I'm like, plus money? Like, and let me speak for my cousin Alfredo, who you know and love personally as well. We watched that game together, me and him, and he honestly said, fuck that, basically. Like, we were in the playoffs, bro. Like, you beat expectations. Go out there and win it. Like, you're here. I don't want to hear that. No 49ers fans wants to hear that. You are there. Go and win it, and especially against your division rival. We don't want to hear that. Go out there and beat it. Like, you're a good team.
Yeah, the Warriors aren't going to say that. If they make it and play against the...
You think Steph thought that on Wednesday? Steph went out there and said, hell no. And like, I'm going to go out there and win. Like, I don't care about my knee. I don't care about that we're going to get bounced in the first round or second round. I'm a competitor. We're going to go out there. We're here. If we're in the playoffs, we need to win. Like, we're here. This thing is not given. It's earned. And it feels like almost that's like, plus money. Like, we're all Gucci. Like, no, you were like, don't let, and I just hope that doesn't carry over into this off season. It's like, man, can't believe we did that. We weren't supposed to be there. And like, look, it's all true. You can say that, but it's like, we want more. We weren't supposed to. That's crazy. Just imagine what we can do together. Like, let's go. And I'm even hungrier. Like, that would be a great way to transition that, to bridge that into this year, especially for your young guys and the rookie class that you got going in, to make sure they don't carry that similar mentality of complacency. So hopefully they can get that reset. Shanahan tells them, like, last year was great, but look, we got curb stopped by the Seahawks twice. That don't fly around here. They won our Super Bowl in our stadium. We have to go out there and still treat this one by one and work as hard so we can eventually give them that curb stomp back. So that's my biggest concern, is where's that mentality stand with them? If they feel like, we're Gucci, we're just going to go back to the playoffs again, because that's what's going to lead them to winning like 7 games next year if they do.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I love that. I'm going to go a different direction. Neither of us are going to say injuries, because to me, it's like, even if this team stays 100% healthy, which it won't, no team does, but even if it's like relatively healthy, I don't think they're the best team or the second best team in their division. And I think there's a real reason why. To me, it does come back to Brock. I feel like the way he's paid at this point in his career, the way this team is built, it's built for a quarterback to carry it. That's why they're paying him so much money. And as good as he is, if their quarterback were Joe Burrow, I would pick this team to win the Super Bowl. If their quarterback were like Josh Allen or Justin Herbert or Lamar Jackson, or Patrick Mahomes, I'd pick him to win the Super Bowl. But with Brock, it's like, you're going to miss a few games and you're going to light up the bad teams, but against the really good defenses, you're probably going to throw a couple picks. Like, you are a top 10 quarterback probably, but I don't think he's good enough to carry this roster as far as it needs to go. So I still think they're going to be good. You have 2 quarterbacks. You have good coaches. They should probably win double-digit games, but I just don't think they're going to be able to get over the hump. And I think it's because it's because they're overpaying this guy. And they're not the only team overpaying a quarterback. Hella teams are overpaying quarterbacks, but there's a consequence. Like, the Seahawks aren't overpaying a quarterback, and the Rams have a Hall of Famer. The Niners don't.
I think, well, he definitely can't carry. We saw that in 2024. He can't.
No.
And look, I don't think and while we know that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's why you go out and you get Mike Evans. That's why it was so bad for them to not have Brandon Ayuk come back. It's like, he needs that really good receiver so that receiver can be his best and Brock can be at his best. Otherwise, you start having him press and press and press like he did in that playoff loss to Seattle, where it's like, brother, like, stop playing hero ball. Like, he acts too much like Russell Westbrook to me, in that sense, where it's like The Rock said, know your role and shut your damn mouth. Like, but you don't have to shut your mouth, Brock. They need to hear you, but like, just know your role, and just like, you can make those miraculous plays like 2 to 3 times a game, but if you're trying to do it like over 5, we're getting a little crazy now. Like that's just hurting the offense and limiting you guys with or without whoever's in your offense. So it's both the detriment. Now, again, that's where it kind of goes back to why you're revamping this offense so we can make Christian McCaffrey not be this lead dog, so he can be better and be better for Brock, so that Mike Evans now has that, gives Brock that outlet weapon for him to throw to. And maybe that's why they will go wide receiver at 27, because like we just need more weapons, because we know like Kyle Shanahan himself selfishly wants an offense full of weapons, because obviously he's like, no duh, what offensive coordinator coach doesn't want his offense to have full of talent that he could play with? And then he has a quarterback that he needs support. Like Brock needs help. Like there's nothing wrong with that. And when he does have like adequate help, he's a solid, very good quarterback. Now, he's not top 5 or top 6, and he'll never be that. He's never elite. But if we could just get him back to that role you were in 2023, where you do share some of the carries, like in terms of sharing that hefty workload with other players in the offense, then shoot, playoffs are a lock, and maybe even you do get to the Super Bowl barring health. But yeah, I think that would be number 2 for sure. After like that mentality would go to Brock, because it's always the quarterback, right? If your quarterback's playing bad or playing good, like that's what's going to rise your team or keep them lower. And especially in this offense with Brock, I think it does more hurt. He could do more hurt than he does good, because what does he need? They call it the point guard. That's why Jimmy worked, right? Because we just need him to distribute and limit mistakes. And it's like, well, he's good for 5 mistakes a game. That's what makes Brock good, is he doesn't make as many mistakes, and he does have that playmaking ability with his legs, and sometimes that just Hail Mary like play, not the Hail Mary throw, but like that wild card play that he makes, that does give them that boost. So I just think if you're looking at Brock, what does he got to improve on? Just get rid of the ball, eliminate that playmaking ability that you think that super playmaker that you think you are, like a Josh Allen.
He played great in 2023. He was top. He was a MVP finalist, but when he got to the Super Bowl, he wasn't great. He wouldn't have been the Super Bowl MVP even if they had won. He was solid, which isn't good enough to win a Super Bowl used most of the time. I guess it was for Sam Darnold. And then I think the Niners felt like, okay, well, he made it there by the time he was 24. He's only going to get better. He's a good investment. We'll pay him this money. We'll have outs along the way, but there's a legit chance that he could be the next Hall of Fame 49ers quarterback. I think they really believed that in 2023 or early 2024. And then after the last couple of years, I'm not sure anyone believes that anymore. Or you could say people are highly skeptical. So we'll see what he does this year. If he stays healthy and stops throwing hella picks, then he could be an MVP candidate again. I don't really know what to expect from Brock anymore. I mean, he does play hero ball, and it leads to turnovers and injuries. And I don't know why he does it. He didn't play that way when he was younger.
Yeah, and I think even like there's been times where Tom Brady has called Niners games and he's like, Brock needs to take that check a little more, which obviously, of course, Brady's going to say that, the check down king right there. But no, he does have a point. It's like there's a reason why that route, that part of your play is there in your playbook when you do call it, because guess what? That big play, that modest gain is probably not going to be there. So just keep us alive. Get us 3 yards. Move the chains. Get us every positive play is actually a positive gain. Even if it's one, don't just like throw a gutter ball. Don't get us killed. Don't throw a pick. Don't cost a fumble. Stop doing too much. It's fine if you do it like a few times a game. That's going to happen. But when you hold on to the ball too long, you start getting your offensive line in trouble. You leave liabilities of turnovers. That's why I hate so much when you keep saying like, they got to get Brock a new offensive line. Like, yes, of course they can always improve, but the offensive line to me, especially in pass pro, is pretty fine. Maybe if Brock doesn't hold on to the freaking football like Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob holds onto a bag of money, then the offense will be doing so much better. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like why are you holding onto the rock for so long? Like, just get rid of the football. Like, let go of it. Like, just stop, because you can be the greatest. You can be one of the greatest reasons why your offense is doing good, but a lot of times it's just up and down.
Agree. Smells like foot in here. Says Niners fans whining about Jack Jones. Get over it. In Ninerland, Purdy's Mahomes. In the league, he's whatever and not the focus of a game plan. Thank you. Smells like foot in here. All day every day. Kim says paying the 12th to 15th quarterback like a Hall of Famer is the problem. Yeah, that's sort of what I said. But he has put up, numbers that would be worth that kind of money. So let's see if he can do that this year. Before we get out of here, I want to get Jose's take on the Warriors. They play tonight. They played 2 days ago. I watched it. It was one of the more entertaining games I've watched in a long time. What do you make of this Warriors team? They're kind of similar to the Niners in the sense that they're really old, but their old players are champions, unlike the Niners' old players who are still on a quest. So, what do you think of the Warriors' last gasp at a title run?
You know why that's the most entertaining game you've seen in a while? Because Steph freaking Curry.
Steph
Like,
freaking Curry.
like that's I think still to this day, that's the most disrespected superstar of my lifetime in any sports, football, baseball,
It's so
basketball,
weird.
because it's like it's not even just like he doesn't get the calls. It's the fact that there's like a good like niche of media and fan base that actually just criticize
Hate
this
him.
man. And like it's like, how can you like hate on this guy? Because to me, he's in my top 5 all time. And he's not 5. I'll tell you that right now. I got him higher than LeBron. I don't give a damn about the rings or nothing like that. Like
I
he's
agree.
just that's just like, look at this. Like LeBron ain't doing that. Like,
No,
come on. And then when he did, he was against a very, very putrid Eastern Conference. But this Warriors team, like, it's funny because I was texting like a couple like diehard Warriors fans, friends of mine, and they wanted the Warriors to lose. It's like, for God's sakes, keep Steph healthy for next year. Keep the draft pick either for a decent player or trade it. And they said once they saw that, it's like, you know what? It's like when great. I told them like, you know, when greatness happens, you just gotta let it happen. And him doing that and trying so hard, just waking up, because that's the one thing about these guys. Like you said, they're champions. They're not gonna wake up in the regular season like that. It's when you get these big time games when it's like playing games, playoffs. Now it's like, all right, time to wake up. We're here now. Like this means something. And you saw that by Steph. You saw that by the veterans. Like he got Kristaps Porzingis to play better than he ever did. Al Horford was, I mean, what the hell was that? Was that like 10 years ago? Atlanta Hawk, Al Horford, or what was that? So that was just crazy to me. It's just, and I think that's just the infectious energy that he has, that it's just insane to see. Like, I'm not a Warriors fan, but I'm big on watching. I love Steph because he's so much hate he gets, and that's a top 5 entertaining athlete I've ever seen in my lifetime in any sport. And it's just crazy to see. And whether they win or lose tonight, like that's just incredible. The fact they won that game, because they shouldn't have won that game. They probably shouldn't have. Whether it's for right reasons or just because they weren't the better team, they were the better team that night. And it's just crazy to see. Like, I think I'm at the point where it's like, are we sure that Steph isn't the greatest Bay Area athlete of all time? Are we sure? Because
I
I know
mean,
Jerry
definitely
Rice
the best
is
of
right
my
there.
lifetime. I think my
Yeah, in our
dad would
lifetime.
say Willie Mays, but I never saw Willie Mays. I think Steph is at the Willie Mays, Joe Montana level. And LeBron has a lot of things going for him. He has longevity, he has efficiency, but he was never fun to watch, even at his peak, like Stephen Curry is at 38 years old. And I think one thing that was telling a couple of years ago on the Olympic team, LeBron's on it, Curry's on it, Durant's on it, and in the key game against France, Durant and LeBron deferred to Curry because they know deep down that Curry's the best. That if you actually need a bucket, it's going to him. So to me, he's the best basketball player I've ever seen. I mean, I grew up with Michael Jordan. I was young. He couldn't. I think I don't know. He's a better defender than Stephen Curry, but Curry is the best offensive player I've ever seen. I've never seen a guy tilt a court like he does. I've never seen a guy put fear in a defense like Steph Curry does. I mean, Kobe did too, but Kobe didn't have the range. Kobe was trying to take all those difficult long twos where Curry's just killing you with these threes. I've never seen anything like it, and it's still fun. 15 years into his career, whatever it is.
Yeah,
But I mean, I want to talk about Draymond though. Like Draymond, like Curry, we all know Curry's great, and it's interesting to see where he's like going to finally end on like where his legacy puts him in the top, whatever. Draymond is like, I have such a love hate relationship with him. I've watched him his whole career, and then I've been out on him so many times, and I felt like I fell in love again. I'm like, oh shit, dude, Draymond Green. That's like him putting the clamps on Kawhi Leonard is one of the most coolest thing that Draymond's ever done. So I gotta give him props, dude. He's still all-time great player, and it was cool that Kawhi said Hall of Famer after the game because he should be a Hall of Famer.
And on like that bum knee that he just hurt, like on that possession too, it's like, oh hell no, that quickness he's gonna have is gonna like be screwed, and Kawhi's gonna take advantage. And Kawhi tried, and look, he toughed it out. It's funny about Draymond because like when Curry came back almost 2 weeks ago, what did he do? He played against the Rockets, right? He came back
Yep.
home to Rockets on that Sunday game. I was texting my friend, I was like, hey, Draymond really is a Steph merchant. And what I mean by that, it's like he only tries when Steph's out there. because he's like, oh hell, I don't got anyone here. I'm just gonna play whatever. That's why he gets. I think that's when he gets more reckless, especially with his fouls. And it's just his defense just does not get enough credit. His offense is definitely it's non-existent now. He used to be a decent offensive player like 8 years ago, but now it's just now that defensive end. You just need him to make the smart play on offense, to make the screen, make the pass, maybe get bored if you can. I know he's like shorter in that realm, but yeah, watching that moment was just like, all right, cool, big. This it's time to try. Like you are trying hard now. I like seeing that. It's kind of what I like to see LeBron used to do 15 years ago, but he stopped doing literally 10 years ago. So now it's like, what are we doing?
I feel like Draymond's at his most dangerous on offense when there's two shooters.
Yeah.
Like, because he always wants to pass. You know he's not going to shoot. You could leave him wide open. But if you have Steph running off screens and another guy that can shoot, it's tough to stop that offense because Draymond's such a good passer. And when they took Clay off the team the last couple of years, I felt like it kind of made Draymond less effective. But now that they have Horford and Porzingis, freaking Porzingis is so much fun to watch when he's healthy, dude. He could pull up. I mean, you guys watched. Pull up from 30 feet off balance. He's like Dirk, dude. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's not Dirk, but I mean, he makes plays that are Dirk-esque. And now all of a sudden I'm like in on this team. Like, I don't think they're gonna win this year, but I'm like, well, wait till they get Jimmy Butler back next year.
Man, you talk about an unfortunate team, and man, Jimmy Butler, man, Terry Butler his ACL. That's so messed. That's screwed. And then even Moses Moody, he's a good key role player on that team. It's just like, dude, what? Like, I saw a tweet the other, like literally, I think the day before or before the game on Wednesday, and you see like the Santa Cruz Warriors or whatever they're called, like wishing good luck to these 5 players on the Warriors. And it's like, what? Steph's playing with 5 Santa Cruz Warriors? Like, what? Wait, what? I knew they were desolate with their depth, but damn, I didn't know it was that bad. We're playing with Santa Cruz Warriors in a playoff game.
I want to say though, I want to shout out one dude who's been I'd never heard of until this year, and I think he's hella good. Santos.
Oh yeah,
he's a good player. Like he's legitimately. He looks like a starting small forward or like a good backup, a better player than Jonathan Kuminga. And if they hadn't traded Kuminga for Porzingis, they wouldn't have won that game. That was a good trade. They got something for Kuminga who's just not good.
No, you talk about, man, that trade should have happened in the summer. These guys are just very foolish for holding on to that. But
yeah,
damn, man, you think they're going to win today? It's tough, huh? Because it's like, it's also the Suns. I think maybe
have anything left in the tank. Are the Suns any good? I don't even know.
I mean, they got Booker. That's why I said I think Booker's going to get his. He's going to get his 30. Is Jalen Green going to step up? They played against the Rockets. They got Dillon Brooks on the team. So the Warriors are probably going to be pissed off at him. They just want to like really make him like.
So they're going to put Dillon Brooks on Steph, and they're going to try to rough up Steph, and then Draymond's going to punch Dillon Brooks, and then one of those guys is going to get ejected. Yeah, I think the Warriors are going to win.
And then they'll get swept by the OKC Thunder. Or maybe they'll win one game. I'll give the Warriors one game because of Steph. They'll win 4-1 against the Warriors.
It'd be cool to see Draymond defend Shea. Well, Draymond and Gary Payton too for a whole series.
Oh, no, it won't, because this is
I just don't think Steph can stay healthy, man. You saw he almost rolled his ankle when he like hit the shot and was like stomping around on the court.
He left the game in the first quarter when he landed on his knee, which I don't know how it wasn't a foul. Like, this guy cannot buy a call to save his life. He couldn't buy a call even if he paid the refs off during the 1980s, 90s like scandal with that one ref. I forget his name, but I feel like
the best way to sum up his legacy or like his impact or how good he is like if you were going to make an all-time starting 5 for basketball, he'd have to be on it. He'd have to be on it. And that's all that really matters. Would LeBron have to be on it? No. The only guys that would have to be on it are like Steph and Jordan. After that, you can figure it out.
I'd go Steph, Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, Olajuwon, or Kareem. One of those two.
I'll go Steph, Clay, Draymond, Hakeem, Pippen. That's my team right there. Be pretty saucy. All right, well, we'll see what happens with the Warriors tonight. See what happens with the Niners in a few days. Don't take Cassius. Whatever you do, parting message to the Niners: don't draft Cassius Howell in round 1, please, or Keldrick Falk.
Edge rusher, it's coming. The edge rusher is coming.
Thanks for watching. Peace.